I'm the preschool program assistant for the city of Concord, as well as a parent of a young child. I'm here today to talk to you about some developmental milestones that you should look out for with your own preschool child, as well as what we do in the classroom to support it and what you can do at home to support as well. In addition to creating our own learning goals, we follow the CDC Watch Me Grow developmental milestone checklist, which you can check out on this website. Today I want to show you how easy it is to facilitate learning at home. I have a few open-ended objects here, including measuring cups, measuring spoons, tongs, a sponge, and some washcloths. Who has ever seen their child become completely engaged in water play at home? Splashing, pouring water. It might look like just fun to you, but actually it's packed full of learning opportunities. And as a fellow parent, I want to share with you how you can do it at home, as well as look out for those developmental milestones. Online, there is so much conflicting and even confusing information about what our children should be doing when. So let's get into it. I'm going to start by mentioning the 4 main developmental domains that we cover in school. The first is social and emotional development, which is the foundation for all development for children. It is basically how they interact with others, how they understand and manage their emotions. It leads to a sense of feeling safe and secure, which is why we want to address that first in our classrooms so that children feel safe on their learning journey. I'm going to go over what it might look like, stages of play for 2, 3, and 4-year-olds. At 2 years old, they do what we call parallel play. So it means they might be in generally the same area, they may exchange words, but they typically don't. They typically don't interact at all. At 2 years old, we have to really try to teach empathy and taking turns, as they have no sense of empathy or sharing at all. It's something that we really try to focus on at the 2-year-olds. Something that you can do at home and something we do at school when they're engaging in parallel play is to try to facilitate that interaction. We do this by simple passing games and sharing games. So, Johnny, can you share with Mary? Yes. Mary, can you pass it back to Johnny? Yes, I can. This is something that you can do at home just to introduce them to the concept of sharing. By 3 years old, they engage in what we call associate play, and that's where they might be in the same area and might pass some toys back and forth, and they might start interacting with each other. At 3 years old, we like to introduce simple rules as they can start to understand them by then. So at 3 years old, in that associate play stage, you might say, use your gentle hands with the water. Keep the water gentle to make sure that they don't splash their friends. By 4 years old, they're really engaging in cooperative play or collaborative play. This means that they might use the same toy back and forth and share it in order to accomplish a common goal. One thing that you could do at home, and what we do at school too, is engage their imagination, which is developing more and more by 4 years old. So if you're noticing that they're not using their gentle hands, not keeping the water gentle, you might say, uh-oh, Velociraptor got splashed. What can we do to help him? And teach that empathy, because it's a skill that we need to impart to them. They're not born with it. The second domain I'd like to cover is cognitive development, and it's all about how children think. It's about how they learn information, what they learn, how they remember it, and how they apply it. Cognitively, 2-year-olds are just beginning to understand concepts such as more and less. Something that you could do at home is simple questions like, which one do you think holds more water and why? By 3, they can start following more advanced directions and they become interested in things like sorting and stacking. So you'll probably see your 3-year-old perhaps sorting things by color, by function, and you can give them these simple materials to play with in the bath and you'll see that sorting coming through. Also counting. 3-year-olds love to count. So you can just, how many scoops are you scooping back into the bathtub? By 4 years old, they have more complex ideas about how to solve problems, as well as conceptually. They're more curious. They are also interested in predictive activities. So you might say, which one of these do you think will float or sink? Will this float? It's sunk. Why do you think that is? We really want to start questioning them about their reasoning, so ask them open-ended questions. Next, I'm going to talk about physical development. There are 2 types of physical development. Gross motor development, which is all the large muscles in their body, the strength and coordination to run, jump, climb, skip, and then fine motor. So fine motor development is all the small muscles from your fingertips to your wrist, and we really focus on this at our preschool in order to get your child ready for writing, all the writing that they're going to have to do in kindergarten. So we need to see a lot of strength and coordination from fingertip to wrist. We do this for 2-year-olds by giving them all of these open-ended objects. For a 2-year-old, just grasping a measuring spoon is wonderful control. We're working on that pincher grasp, which eventually we want to turn into a writing grasp, a great pencil grip. For 3-year-olds, we like to introduce other things that build their strength. So this might not look like a lot for a parent of a 2 or a 3-year-old, but this is exercising all the muscles in your child's hand from fingertip to wrist. As well as 3-year-olds, you might see them pouring from one vessel to another. This might not look like a lot to a parent, but this is huge for a 3-year-old. This is balance, this is eye coordination, eye tracking. It's everything that you want to see in developing the fine motor controls. For 4-year-olds, I like to introduce a little bit more complicated tools, and I say complicated because it is for them, but for us, we just have these things probably lying around the house. Again, a kitchen tong, and these are small child-safe plastic tweezers. In the bathtub, they might pick this up and begin washing their doll, or the tweezers, we're just adding an extra step so that we are getting all that fine motor control developing and getting their wrists ready, their fingers ready, their grasp, the strength, and the coordination ready for all the writing they have to do in kindergarten. The last domain I'm going to cover is language development. Language is the gateway to your child's world, and it's all about how they use and understand language. Your child by 2 years old should have a vocabulary of 50 words, believe it or not, and they should be using simple 2-word sentences. So a 2-year-old you might hear say, I wash. By 3 years old, your child should have over 250 words, and they should be using more complex sentences, such as, I am washing the doll. By 4, they should have well over 500 words and be using more complicated sentences, as well as thinking about elements of a story, whether it's real or made up. They should be able to recall events, as well as predict things that are happening in the future. And if your child is anything like my young child, a 4-year-old might sound like this. I'm washing the doll. Her name is Barbie. She lives in a big house. Hey, Mom, can we go visit Barbie's big house? Where do you think Barbie lives? All in all, to support this development at home and at school, you want to, when they're little, use a lot of narration. So to your 2-year-old, just say what you're doing. I'm washing the doll. I'm gently combing her hair with my washcloth. Just narrate what's going on. You can introduce vocabulary such as drip or overflow. By the time that they get to 4, you want to be asking more of those open-ended questions, such as, what do you think happens to Barbie after the bath time? So that wraps up our discussion of the 4 main developmental domains that we support here at the City of Concord Preschool program. And you can see how easily it is to support your child's growth and development at home by just providing them the right space and some open-ended objects, as well as your presence and support. If you have any concerns about your child's development in any one of these 4 domains, you can please reach out to your child's teacher, myself, or our program coordinator, Angela Freitag. I also want to mention that we partner with CocoKids, who provide resources for local families, especially if you are experiencing developmental delays. We have a warm line that will be posted, so please call this number at any time if you feel that your child is delayed in any way. Also, if you just have general parenting questions, this is a great number to call to see if what's going on is typical or atypical. Anything that you're worried about, we're here to support you with. Thank you for joining me for this presentation, and feel free to reach out for more information. you.